Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack multiple 6 and 7 figures without burning themselves out. And today we have another great guest for you. We have Craig Ingram. Now, Craig, he has been in the med tech space, so that's something a little different, and health tech industry for 25 years and has been able to increase market share, revenue, and profitability for venture capital supported startups and small to medium-sized enterprise companies by analyzing their commercialization strategy and sales effectiveness. Please welcome Craig.
Thanks, Steve. Great to be here, and thanks for having me. I look forward to a fruitful discussion.
Well, great. Well, first of all, everyone has to know, how did you get started in the med tech space?
So when I was 15, my dad got diagnosed with stage 3 esophageal cancer. And some friends of the family had connections with all of these medical technology companies in Europe. Well, just by happenstance and just observing and listening and being around these people, I found that a lot of these technologies that were being used on cancer patients in Europe were not being allowed in the United States because they were considered experimental, even though they were not considered experimental in Europe. And to make a long story short, I got to see tons of medical technologies be sent to my dad, getting it through a loophole and everything, and he would use these products, and he should have been dead literally within 6 to 7 months, and he ended up staying alive almost 28 months, and it was really because of these technologies. And so I was like, wow, I really want to get into this industry of bringing new medical technologies to hospitals, clinics, whoever would buy them, right? I mean, I was literally in high school. I had no idea. So ended up going to college at Columbia. And while I was at Columbia, my brother-in-law was he worked for a leasing company. And a lot of the leasing transactions that they would do would be leasing medical devices and technologies to hospitals and physician offices and physical therapists and you name it. And so he ended up going to a business meeting, and I went with him, and I ended up meeting a CEO of a company, and I basically begged the CEO to let me sell their product at 100% commission. I didn't even know what a 1099 independent rep was. I'm like, you don't have to pay anything. Let me sell it for you. I was literally 19 years old. And almost 20 actually at the time. And they said yes, and the rest is history. I ended up, creating a medical distribution company that I had for 3.5 years. And then after that, went and worked for Johnson & Johnson. I'm still debating whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, because I'm not a sheep, right? I don't follow just for the sake of following people. I've definitely come from a family of entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, and being real, raw, and authentic is my thing, and that doesn't always fly in corporate America. And so to make a long story short, that's how I ended up here, and I'm literally going on my 26th year.
Oh, wow. And you serve the small, medium-sized companies. Now, do they already have venture capital money, or are they seeking it? What stages are they in?
It's interesting. A lot of these small startup companies, many of them are pre-seed, some are seed, some are stage A, and some are stage B, right? And so I've worked for seed, Series A, and Series B venture capital startup companies. Some have done really well, some have not done so well. And that's just the risk of business, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we find in corporate America that, there's such a dichotomy between serial entrepreneurs and corporate America, right? Where neither one are bad or good, but it's just interesting that people in corporate America are scared to make decisions. They're scared to make the wrong decisions, so they tend not to make decisions. And then you've got the serial entrepreneurs that are not scared to make decisions, because if they make a wrong decision, they can pivot right away and make another decision and see if that one's right. And when you find those type of people who I align with more, and there are those people in corporate America, there really is. And I identify with them right away because I'm not afraid to make a decision. I really think that venture capital-based companies or private equity supported MedTech and health tech startups, I bring so much value because I've been in the Fortune 20 companies and I've also started my own company, and I've been everything in between, right? So whether it's a sales rep of the year or regional sales director of the year or whatever the case may be, I've been so fortunate to be in those positions. And it's just fun to add value. And I say fun because I wouldn't want to do anything else but MedTech and health tech commercialization for companies, whether it's on the sales effectiveness side, teaching people how to be more effective at selling, teaching sales managers on don't just be a box checker, invest into your people, right? Or taking it all the way up to a chief commercial officer, where you're looking at the whole picture from manufacturing to distribution to everything involved when it takes a product from the beginning of a life cycle all the way to the end stage of the life cycle.
So when you're talking to these companies and they're just starting off, what do you see as like one of their biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge is them thinking they know it and they've got it all together. It's kind of like, and this is an extreme analogy, but if you think of it in the proper context, the admiral of the Titanic was more concerned about the band playing and making everybody comfortable while the ship was sinking, instead of addressing the issue that there was a hole in the boat. I see that a lot in business. I see that a lot because people don't want to have to admit that they made a mistake. But here's the deal. Michael Jordan missed more shots than he made. In fact, it was like a 17-to-1 ratio. He would make 1 out of 17 shots and yet became a billionaire, literally a billionaire, liquid net worth billionaire, because he was willing to take those other 16 shots, even though they were probably going to be missed. When I find that people in business aren't willing to make the decision and they have to get a consensus so everybody's on board making a decision, by the time the decision is made, they're late to the game. Make the decision. Empower your people to make the decision. Let them make mistakes. Let them fall forward. The more they fall forward, the more they learn. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, it's not that costly of a mistake. It really isn't. I personally pay for coaching from liquid 9-figure and liquid 10-figure net worth entrepreneurs, literal billionaires and people worth literally $300 and $600 million liquid net worth. What I've learned from them is you better be making a lot of mistakes day in, day out, because you know what that shows? That you're figuring out how to make something work because you're figuring out what's not working. Don't play it safe. When you play it safe, you'll never earn your net worth, and you'll never reach the pinnacle of business, because business really is about solving life's problems.
There you go. Okay, we're going to take a quick word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with Craig.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise.
And we're back. And we're talking about, failing forward, if you will. You got to take those risks out there. And, many of our listeners are small business owners, entrepreneurs, and they're taking those risks. But we've seen it too, that many of them get to that plateau like, oh, good, I made 100,000 this year. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, we took the car out of the gear. And it's like, what happened? You've been around in business for a long time. What is one thing that you actually learned the hard way in growing your business?
Oh gosh. You got 6 hours?
Yeah. Well, that's why we get it down to one.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? The single biggest mistake is not taking action. Period. It might be the wrong action, but you will figure out very quickly if it's the wrong action, which will allow you to stop doing the wrong action and you'll do the right action. You'll find that out very quickly. And again, 9 times out of 10, it's not a hugely costly mistake. It's just not.
That's true. That's what I see with a lot of business owners. They're thinking it's going to be this grandiose mistake when the reality is like it's a hiccup. And that's all it really was. Now, if you did something crazy and throw everything in crypto and it went into the tank, that's a different story.
It's interesting because one of my business coaches who I pay, his name's Billionaire Fred. That's what a bunch of us call him. And he chuckles all the time, right? Because he doesn't want to be known. He's not fly. He owns a jet, he owns a helicopter, he knows all this stuff, but nobody knows, right? He doesn't make it public. But he said to me, Craig, business is about running marathons with multiple sprints in the middle, jumping over hurdles. He goes, so picture yourself in a track meet where you have a 400-meter run, right? You're going to run around the athletic field, right? 4 times. But within those running track, right? Running on the straightaways, you're going to have hurdles you're going to have to jump over, right? And guess what? Sometimes you're going to get your foot caught on one, you're going to fall. You're going to get back up, you're going to run, you're going to jump over another hurdle. Business is about running a marathon from the time you start business in your teens and 20s to the time you decide to retire or die, right? In your 60s, 70s, 80s. Or like in George Ross's case, he's 94 and he just decided recently to hang it up. It's all about jumping over those hurdles, figuring out how to jump over those hurdles. There's times where you need to pace yourself and there's times you're going to need to sprint. And it's so funny because I'll look at postings for jobs and, oh, we're a fast company and, we do this and that. And it's like, everything's fast, and then when you get over there, it's like they move at a snail's pace. It's like, does anybody ever advertise that, we're a slow moving company that looks for consistency on the way up? Because I've been told by my business coaches who are serial entrepreneurs, it's not about fast. It's about consistent growth year over year over year over year that gives you the edge over your competition. Because you can have a peak and valley, or you can just go up on a steady basis over 20, 30, 40, 50 years and build that company. And all the serial entrepreneurs that I know, it's not about fast.
No.
The only business that I've been told where speed is the key is in the racing world of NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and F1.
That's it. It's true. I mean, look at the Dow 30. All those companies are just slow and steady. And look at them. They've been around. They're rock solid. They could take a hit in the stock market. And guess what? They're there tomorrow. Chugging along, following they have their roadmap built and they're following it.
And it's interesting because when I talk to a CEO or a chief commercial officer or a chief financial officer or a chief operations officer, and all they're thinking about is fast, and that's what's coming out of their mouth when they're talking to me, it shows me that they really don't understand the fundamentals of business. They think they do. It's how they've been taught, but they've not been taught by serial entrepreneurs who have built businesses from scratch in multiple different industries, because those are the people I'm starting to hang around with. And I'll tell you what, I keep my mouth shut and I am a sponge. I have an MBA, but I will tell you, I have more of an MBA hanging out with these people over the last 3 years than getting an academic MBA.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more.
And I don't have a massive bank account. They do.
You should be listening to those people. They're doing something right.
Right. You look at people talk about the 99%, right? Well, the 99% in corporate America are broke.
Right.
They're not the top 3,000th of a percent that can buy what they want, when they want. They don't have to ask when to go on vacation. They don't, right? I want to be those people. But that means that we're going to have to do things in an unconventional way that's not popular to the normalcy.
That's
uncomfortable.
It is.
I admit it.
But you also notice, though, the entrepreneurs and the small businesses that have become massive businesses, they're always doing something uncomfortable until a certain point, and then they find that groove and they get in it, and now it's becoming comfortable, but still uncomfortable.
100%. But that's not popular. People don't want to hear that in an interview.
No. I mean, I've met a lot of these people you're talking about. I mean, one guy I was at an event with, and he's like, I'm grateful, but I'm bummed. My company only makes $1 million a day. And we've only been around for 5 years. And I'm like, so why are you bummed? And he goes, I know we could do better. And he goes, I'm working on it and I'm failing. If I would stop all the failures, I think I could do it. And everyone around, we all like, it's the failures that got you to $1 million a day.
100%. But again, you'll find some leaders in corporate America that completely embrace that mindset.
Yeah.
But the vast majority don't, because it's not popular. It makes people uncomfortable. It's not the saying of the week. It makes your optics not look so pretty.
Right.
I'll never forget when JT said to me one time, he goes, business is hard. He goes, business is ugly. He goes, if you have 52 good days in a year, you'll be literally a liquid net worth millionaire where you can write a check and it won't bounce. He said, because by the way, Craig, I know you're not a millionaire because you can't write $1 million check without it bouncing. I said, you're right. I have a net worth over $1 million, but not liquid. And it's because I have not done what you're coaching me to do. I said that to Hugh. I've said that to Fred. I've said that to Jay. You know what I mean? All my coaches, and it's true. I have failed to implement early on, before I was being coached, some of the principles that these guys coached me, but I wasn't having anybody pushing me.
Right.
And holding me accountable, going, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And I was like, oh, no, not yet. You know what I mean? Now I get that every single week because I pay for it. Because mentors don't tell you what you need to hear. They tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
But coaches tell you what you don't want to hear and what you do need to hear. Without an arrogance behind them, because they're actually for you, not against you.
Right. They're on your side. They see something in you that you are not seeing. And that's why, Michael Jordan had over 20 coaches. Well, because he knew he cannot see himself dribbling. He knows that.
Right.
So let me get a coach who can see all that.
Yep. I'll tell you, I've learned more about business. And it's interesting because one of the things that I was never really told this, I've just put 2 and 2 together, is that the higher the net worth of somebody in business, the more simple they're looking to make their business.
Yeah.
They're not trying to add all these, complicated processes, although processes are important, but they're trying to make a process as simple as possible. Not easy, but maybe as simple as possible, because they know business in it itself is hard, it's ugly, you fail more than you succeed, and to try and puff yourself up to make yourself look like you're so with it in business and you overcomplicate stuff. We see that every day on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
With the people doing stuff, right? And then I look at these ultra high net worth serial entrepreneurs and business professionals, and they're like, Craig, help me with this. And they're asking for my help. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm paying you for coaching. And they're like, yeah, but you're a different set of eyes.
Yeah.
How can I simplify this process? And then I'll give them a couple suggestions. And, I about fell off my seat when one of the billionaires literally was like, Craig, thank you. He's like, I didn't even see it, and you saw it right away.
Right.
He goes, that's the value you can bring. I'm like, I had no idea I could bring value like that. Fred, I had no idea I could bring value like that. You know what I mean? Like, GT, I had no idea I could bring value like that.
That's it. That's why I'm a big believer. I've been in masterminds. I've ran masterminds. It's the power of it. And someone will throw out that one question to make everyone, because they're seeing it clear as day, and everyone else in the room does not see it. And they'll say it, and next thing you know, it's just a mic drop moment that everyone's just all of a sudden, like, you can see everyone's light bulbs go on. And it's like, that's the moment that paid for the whole year right there. One question.
True. It's so true. Yeah, it's true. It's just fascinating, because I think if more business professionals will admit that they don't have it all together and seek real, raw, authentic business advice from people, not looking at their title, I think business people could be more effective at their business.
Okay. Well, all our guests usually give a gift or something to help our listeners in their business or in their life. Is there something you possibly can give our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to add value. Whether I monetize or get paid for something or not, if I can add value to somebody, I'm going to do it, right? Because people are going to see the value that that other party brings and go, gosh, I want them to help me with X, whatever X might be, right? So I'm totally willing to spend 20 minutes on the phone, seeing if I can help somebody in their business, and I would no problem give 20 minutes of free coaching over like a video call or something like that, Google Meet, Zoom, whatever. Be more than happy to do that.
Well, excellent. We'll have that link in the show notes so everyone could take advantage of that and take you up on that offer, because you just never know what you're going to find out.
Yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping up, do you have any like one parting word, phrase, or something that you can leave everyone with?
Gosh, I'll leave this. The overwhelming vast majority of days in a calendar year in your business, whatever your business might be, whatever industry you're in, the vast majority of days are not going to be good. Mm-hmm. You're going to start in the morning, you're going to end at the evening, and you're going to be like, gosh, was this day even close to productive? I did all these things, and I'm not seeing any fruit. Stay with that grind. The grind over time equals income. And the income is a direct result and relationship to the problem that you solve. And the problem that you solve is definitely going to make people's lives more effective and actually just flat out better. It just is. Mm-hmm. And so stick with it. Action, action, action. Even the wrong action in some cases can result to millions of dollars. And then you'll figure out that you've been doing it wrong, and you've still gotten clients. You've still gotten customers. You've still changed people's lives, because that's what business is. It's a series of solving problems and challenges of life. I hope that helps.
Oh, excellent. Well, Craig, thank you so much for being our guest here. And folks, if you like Craig and our other experts on Biz Coach and Coffee, please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And hey, leave us a little positive feedback. That never hurts as well. Let us know how you've taken something that you heard here today and put it in action in your business. I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, wishing you and your business much success.